Dead Cells is a well-loved and established indie darling that has done wonders in terms of collaborations and expanding on their world with DLC. So after realising they had made a new game, I thought surely Windblown would have the same polish and incredible fun loop that Dead Cells has. Well, it's in early access, but Windblown has one of the hardest trailers I've seen in recent memory. It's got a cinematic section to show off important characters, it's got anime-inspired animations to showcase the devastating attacks and powers, and this is all wrapped together real pretty in a bow, with a song of choice thudding in your chest while the opening plays out. But how does the gameplay hold up? Well, at first I wasn't sure if it was for me. I just felt really heavy, but that was just a learning curve. As soon as you find the feel for the game and it all clicks, you are rapid with abilities to nip behind enemies or straight out avoid any attack that's sent your way. The dash is as vital as the combat most of the time. You can have two weapons, some are slow but heavy damage and others with fast combos. You also get flasks to heal, trinkets that go on cooldown and do some extra damage in the biomes, and gifts that give you buffs. You can play as different leapers who you can change between at the arc to play as whoever best suits you. From what I've seen, they all play the same and it's just a skin choice for who you take into the vortex. In the early access they have 5 biomes for you to explore with increasingly difficult fights to battle through. This makes it fun and engaging with the feeling of losing not being demotivating, but more something that encourages you to run it back and make it further than you did. As you continue on, you'll learn new techniques like alter attacks, which basically runs through one weapon's combos and then you switch up to the other weapon's attack to unleash some devastating damage. You also unlock finisher moves on bigger enemies that when performed drop more resources to take back to the arc. It's a roguelite, where you upgrade your character with more heals, more slots for perks and better equipment to make the next run more likely to win than the last. It's one of those games you can throw hundreds of runs and still want to pick it up and make another attempt. The combat gives you a bunch of options to mess around with and find what works best for you. All of the action and exploration is accompanied by a soundtrack that just has you bobbing your head. The dance rhythm flows as you're hammering out combos and finishes, the subtle melodies that play while you run through areas and the boss themes to match the tempo of what's happening in the arena are all just a chef's kiss. This game's music is exactly what you need when hacking and slashing your way through the vortex. The backgrounds are stunning, from the close-up platforms you'll be fighting across to the distant destructions that swirl around in the background. You ascend upwards in the vortex through a collective of different locations that carry their own themes and atmospheres. Navigating through these biomes is relatively the same across them all, but they feel different enough that they're still fun to traverse. As you explore the different biomes, you'll be introduced to a ton of different enemies with their own specific plans of action. Some rush you down with AoEs, others launch projectiles, and some are just straight up swing to take your top off. It doesn't feel like the game offers unique enemies in the gaming space, but they do have fun designs that match the setting. You fight against golems, mushrooms, robots, pirate rats and sentinels, and they all look incredible. They even have a pirate rat that's using 3 swords like Zoro from One Piece. Bosses are heavy hitting powerhouses that really get in your face with fast attacks, projectiles and some mechanics you'll really need to focus avoiding and capitalising on punishment. You usually have plenty of room to work with against the bosses to find space, but some have small areas to fight in that make prioritising evasive movement over raw damage. Don't get me wrong, I'm certain you can have a broken build and smash them with raw DPS, but that wasn't what I ever managed. I worked around the attacks, punished when I could, and focused on keeping my health up and trying to end the fight. During this early access I noticed one performance issue, and that is during a bullet hell attack from a boss referred to as Head in the pirate rat biome. It's manageable of course, but this is something that needs to get fixed for the full release. I also felt like the player character kind of looks off graphically, but then I realised that you can move in this game. With the dash ability you can cover so much distance so quickly, so I thought maybe that was something to do with it. Obviously with a game like this you want to have a smooth combat experience, so maybe they just got the player's character model to look like that for that reason alone. Regardless, the game is phenomenal, the musical tracks are incredible and the entire experience is notable. Fin. As in what the French say for end, or finish, I don't know, I didn't learn French. But the point is, this game is well and truly worth your time. And it's something you can run alone or run with 3 people, because 3 is the magic number, I guess. This was just a short video, as in my eyes it's not a finished game yet, but it certainly deserves some love from what they've created with this early access title. Windblown was just so much fun to play, and I look forward to seeing what the final release actually has to offer. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day and or evening, and I'll catch you next time.